Hello. I thought it was about time that I provided a further update to everybody on life in school. Recording this on Wednesday, 30th of June, around about midday. I've just recently written my first word for this week, and I normally give the articles a quick title so that I know what I'm attaching to the email when I send it through. And so the back of an envelope title I gave this week's article was Lots Going On. And I think that sums up life in the school at the moment. Right at the start of my teaching career, going back well over 30 years, I suppose there might have been a point when this period in the summer was a time of relative calm, a chance to catch up, perhaps a chance in my case as a teacher and then a head of English to prepare the set texts that you were going to teach for the following year. But it has got to be said that those days are long gone. And ever since I came to Sheriff, first as deputy, then as head, the experience has been very, very different. And I think it's different for everyone in schools, regardless of where they are. But the pace of things doesn't slow down. If anything, it speeds up. My first term at the school, when I joined as deputy, I had to write the timetable. So I thought, oh gosh, it's a busy summer, maybe it'll be different second time through, but no, it wasn't. And so it has remained ever since. So lots happening. And I did consider whether I should actually look to record this message somewhere else. Apologies if it gets a little bit noisy, because the building work that's happening just outside my window. And I decided, no, actually, it would be good for you to get that sense of lots going on, not just in the school, but on the building, but is happening outside as well. We're still full steam ahead with the new science block that's being constructed. We never thought that it would be ready for September, but we think by around about the October half term, there is still every prospect of the new building being ready, which is absolutely brilliant, because of course by then we'll have had a further intake of 5 forms of entry, and so the pressure upon space will grow further, and we're going to need those new resources. And once, of course, the new building has been completed, then the refurbishment of the rest of the school, which is in itself is a major project costing well over £1 million, that will then take place, which further prepares us for those 5 forms of entry. It's really exciting to see the new building now going up at speed, and if you drive past the school, then you'll get just a flavour of how quickly that building is emerging. So what's going on within school? Well, just to give you a flavour of some of what we've been doing. Over the last few days, we've been holding familiarisation events for students who are going to join us in the 6th form. Next year's year 12. Because of the current COVID situation, we've broken that down into small groups. And I suppose tending to show us that they've taken a lateral flow test, which I think is wise, and it's something that's happening in a whole series of events. Before I went to watch England against New Zealand at the cricket at Edgbaston a few weeks ago, I had to show my proof of an LFT test the night before I could get in the ground. It's a shame that England lost so quickly, but still the basic idea was a very strong one. But we think it will be helpful to those students to get a flavour of some of the further background to their subjects next year, although they've been doing a whole series of transition units online that will help them and are really very meaty opportunities to become absorbed in the subject next year, and just to check out that it is something that you really want to do. Chance to meet pastoral staff, those who aren't familiar with the place, to have a look around, orientate yourself, and to briefly have a sense of others who are joining Year 12 next year. So those have been tremendously positive events, very well organised by everyone on the sixth form team, ably assisted by students from Year 13 who've returned to help us with that. So that's been going on. We've also been making a variety of plans talking about induction for Year 7, and because of the wider range of students that would involve, and the range of schools they'll be joining us from, we think that probably would be wiser if the face-to-face induction actually took place in September. So that's the arrangement we've put in place for those students, but already they've had an email this week from Mrs. Welsh giving them a point of contact, passing on information. There's going to be a set of videos and other information going out on the website that's going to give everyone a flavour of life at the school. And then in the first few days of the autumn term, we're going to use that as an opportunity for face-to-face induction for those students, and we'll also look to hold an event for parents. And we also think it would be a good idea in the early weeks of next term, if it is possible, to hold an event for parents in Year 8 as well, in next year's Year 8, who perhaps have had very limited opportunities to make direct contact with the school because of the pandemic, and so it would be good to give them a chance to come and say hello and find out a little bit more face-to-face about how things are going, and to get a sense of what is going to be involved in Year 8. This is also normally the time when we'd be holding a face-to-face open evening for students who are interested in joining us in a year or so's time, coming into Year 7. Now, the current situation with COVID means this wouldn't be sensible or wise or practical, so we're not going to do that. But we will, if circumstances permit, look to hold an open evening next term, around the October half term, and a little bit earlier in that first half term we'll also plan to hold a face-to-face open evening for students interested in joining our sixth form in September 22. So if we're able, we're hoping that we can offer a number of face-to-face opportunities at different levels for people to see the school and get a flavour of things over the coming months. It's something that we do extremely well. People always go away with a tremendous impression of the school, not least because of the opportunity they have to meet some of our wonderful students and the impression that they make alongside our first-class staff and the great facilities and everything else that the school has to offer. What else to tell you about? Well, over the next couple of weeks, we do want to hold some awards events for students in the year group bubbles. It's important with all that's been happening and all the disruption caused by the pandemic, that we don't lose the opportunity to encourage and congratulate and say well done to students. For those who are a little bit older, we do that in the chapel at Rugby School around about Christmas. Wasn't possible this year, it was a virtual event. We're still optimistic that will be possible at Christmas 21. But for our younger students, we're holding a series of year group based events over the next few weeks where we'll be awarding and congratulating them and saying well done. We will let parents of those involved know, and we may see if technology permits, if we can rig up some kind of fairly basic live stream for the event. It's not going to be high tech, there's not going to be an incredible photographic quality, but I mentioned in my first word that we had something similar when my younger son had his master's graduation a few months ago, and whilst I'd much rather been there in person, it was better than not having any form of contact with the event. So I think it'd be nice if we offered some sort of facility like that. So I think that gives a roundup of some of the things going on, some of the issues we're exploring. I'll look to do at least one more of these updates before the end of term, just to give you a sense of what's on the school's in tray, what's on the school's agenda as we head towards the summer. Speaking of summer, I do hope it warms up soon, and it feels a little bit more like June, July, but I'm told that we can all be fairly optimistic as we head towards the actual holiday period. So let's hope it's going to be a really warm end of term. England won the football last night, so lots of reasons to be positive and optimistic. Okay, all the very best. Bye-bye.